Okay. Welcome to the show. We're going to be talking about conspiracy theories today. Let's see.
Should probably have it loaded.
Right, I should have put that beforehand. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the 9/11 false flag theory. Which is a theory, but it seems pretty probable at this point. I mean, I'm on board with that one.
Yeah.
Willow
Yes.
agrees. Thank you for everybody who watched our pre-video
Warm up
babysitting session. Power out. It takes a while to load.
Dude.
I'm gonna go get my Pepsi. I guess because you're just brought up in yours.
Yeah, that's kind of Here you go. You throw down, Jack.
Oh well. Well, our babies. Oh. Yeah, I'm not bringing that up, and I'll bring up a different one. Oh, that's not attached on this one. Yeah, just bring it up on that one. Anyway, if anybody has any comments on 9/11 in particular, like if you think it really was this big false flag operation, or if you think it really was a bunch of terrorists, feel free to comment what you think. We're just gonna get this information here. So, you know, this is what we think. We don't have any independent thoughts of our own.
Zero.
We're just gonna go with whatever the fuck pops up on Google first.
Okay, this is what our theory is gonna
Let's
be.
see. This is from.
Oh, this is theory versus facts.
No, we don't want any facts.
Fuck the facts. This is all fake news all day.
No. What? If we get facts in there, we might be proven wrong. Let's go with
conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Popular mechanics.
Alright, popular mechanics. Now, of course, you could just bring this up on your own screen, but I'm going to save you the Google search and I'll even read it for you. There's no words on here. It's just pictures. Here's where they did it. This is what happened afterwards. Look, here's some arrows. Nope. That's not gonna be. That's not our opinion today either. A bunch of pictures? Fucking really? That's who we agree with.
No words at all.
Okay, here's some words and shit.
Here's some words. Claim versus fact.
Okay, here's the claim. The first hijacked plane crashed through the 94th to the 98th floor of the World Trade Center's 110th North Story. The second jet, what? Sorry. North Tower. North Tower. The impact and ensuing fires disrupted elevator service in both buildings. Plus, the lobbies of both buildings were visibly damaged before the towers collapsed. There is no way the impact of the jet caused such widespread damage 80 stories below. Claims are posting on the San Diego Independent Media Center website, sandiego.indiemedia.org. Don't visit that while you're listening to this. It is fuck those guys. Fuck those guys. It is obvious and irrefutable that other explosives, such as concussion bombs, had already been detonated in the lower levels of Tower 1 at the same time as the plane crash. Fact. Following up on a May 2002 preliminary report by the Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA, a major study will be released in spring 2005 by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, a branch of the U.S. Department of Commerce. I didn't know about that one. I don't know if we really fucking need that one. Gotta pay those guys too now. NIST shared its initial findings with PM and made its lead researcher available to our team of reporters. Whatever that means. The NIST investigation revealed that the plane debris sliced through the utility shafts of the North Tower's core, creating a conduct for burning fuel and fire destruction throughout the building. It's very hard to document where the fuel went, says Foreman Williams, and NIST advisor and a combustion expert. A NIST advisor and a combustion expert, but if it's atomized and combustible and gets to an ignition source, it'll go off. Burning fuel traveling down the elevator shaft would have disrupted the elevator systems and caused extensive damage to the lobbies. NIST heard first-person testimony that some elevators slammed right down to the ground floor. The doors cracked open on the lobby floor and flames came out and people died. Says James Quintier, an engineering professor at the University of Maryland and a NIST advisor. That's NIST. What does that stand for again? Who are these guys that were NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology? Okay, you know what? Maybe we do need those guys. I don't know if they're doing their fucking job, but
really don't.
Okay, where are we here? Engineered. A similar observation was made in the French documentary 9/11 by Jules and Gideon Nade, as Jules Nade entered the North Tower lobby minutes after the first aircraft struck. He saw victims on fire and a scene he found too horrific to film. Okay, melted steel. Here's the claim on the melted steel. We have been lied to, announces the website attackonamerica.net. The first lie was that the load of fuel from the aircraft was the cause of the structural failure. No kerosene fire can burn hot enough to melt steel. The posting is entitled Proof of Controlled Demolition at the World Trade Center. And this is where, this has been proven time and time again, and it's never happened before or ever since. They can't create any sort of controlled experiment where this is happening because it's just I don't know, physics or whatever. Yeah. I don't know what I'm just an idiot. But
well, it explains it right here. But fact.
Here's the fact: jet fuel burns at 800 degrees to 1500 degrees Fahrenheit. Not hot enough to melt steel. Yeah, you got to get all the way up to 2700 for that to happen, I guess. And so it's nowhere close enough to do what it's trying to claim here. However, experts agree that for the towers to collapse, their steel frames didn't need to melt. They just had to lose some of their structural strength. And so they're saying it just got hot enough that they bent a little bit. And that's kind of plausible, I guess. But I don't know yet. I'm still trying to read my opinion here. Let's see. What were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say, but they did find melted steel.
They found melted steel at the scene.
Site, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
So that's kind of hard to just explain away.
Well, I mean, maybe like a bomb or something. Maybe do bombs burn that hot? Does anybody know anything about fucking anything? Somebody would have fucking
we are the wrong people to
We
ask.
don't know, but I've never seen. Let's see. However, experts agree that for the towers to collapse, their steel frames didn't need to melt. They just had to lose some of their structural strength, and that required exposure to much less heat. I've never seen melted steel in a building fire, says retired New York Deputy Fire Chief Vincent Safety. So he's saying he's not really seen this before, but it could happen. But I've seen a lot of twisted, warped, bent, and sagging steel. What happens is the steel tried to expand at both ends, but when it but when it can no longer expand, it sags and the surrounding concrete cracks.
Interesting.
Wait a second. Is this one of those places? Hey, these guys are refuting what I think. What the fuck? This is ridiculous. Fuck that shit. I don't want any facts here.
We don't want facts. We just want the most crazy,
This is
insane.
not what I'm going. This is not what we're about. Let's see. New opinion. Why? Yeah, here we go. From BBC, they know their shit, right?
This is how they've changed. Maybe 10 years. Here we go.
Uh-oh, here's some interesting questions.
Okay. Why did the world's most powerful air force fail to intercept any of the 4 hijacked planes? Conspiracy theorists say the U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney ordered the military to stand down and not to intercept the planes. Official reports say this was a highly unusual multiple hijacking with violence on board and where the transponder, which identifies the plane, was turned off or changed. What is more, a routine military training exercise happened to be taking place that day at the U.S. Air Defense Command. Air Traffic Controller Colin Scoggins was in constant contact with the military and did not see any lack of response. There was confusion and a lack of communication between the Civilian Air Traffic Control, FAA, and the military. The military's equipment was also outdated and designed to look over the ocean to deal with a Cold War threat. So, why did they fail to intercept the plane?
That's the question. Exactly. We were just. I think we were just talking about this. Yeah. So why didn't they intercept? I mean, I have a few theories on why they wouldn't do that. I guess they wouldn't just fucking blow a bunch of people out of the sky. They don't know where those planes are going. You know, they're not just gonna be like, fuck it, they got the planes, kill them all. Like, they don't know if it's a hostage situation or... So, I don't know. That's a dumb question. Of course they're not going to just blow up those planes.
And this one's the collapse of the Twin Towers.
That's some, like... Well, like, oh, fucking... You know...
Well, they have plenty of... They have plenty of excuses.
Yeah,
but no, like, excuses.
I don't know. That's not a good question. If I was any kind of, like... in any kind of position of power like that, and somebody said, oh, these planes got hijacked, and there's a bunch of people on board, I wouldn't just be like, okay, fuck it!
Shoot them down!
We're just taking those guys out.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
Like,
could
no.
you imagine?
So I don't, okay. So, first question here. Why did the world's most powerful Air Force fail to intercept any of the 4 hijacked planes? Because they can't just fucking stop it. They don't have tractor beams. They have no way to keep those people safe. Next question. That's a stupid fucking question. Like, let's see. Why did the Twin Towers collapse so quickly within their own footprint after fires on a few floors that lasted only for an hour or 2? That's a pretty good question, too. But, I mean, again, neither of us know fucking anything about anything. But, you know, it seems like logically, yeah, that entire thing is not just gonna fucking...
Yeah. The conspiracy theorists say Twin Towers were destroyed by controlled demolitions. They do, and they look like,
Dude,
you know...
if you look at the base of those things, it looked like they took something or just like...
It looks like something fishy's going on there. Theories relate to the rapid collapse with about 10 seconds, the relatively short-lived fires, 56 minutes in World Trade Center 2 and 102 minutes in World Trade Center 1, reports the sounds of explosions shortly before the collapse, and violent ejections that could be seen at some windows many floors below the collapse. And the official report says, an extensive inquiry by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, we just read this shit, included the plane's severed and damaged support columns and dislodged fireproofing. Around 10,000 gallons of jet fuel were spilled over many floors, starting widespan fires.
I don't buy this whole like bented metal thing. All that metal like came down, like that metal was wrecked. It wasn't just kind of bent a little bit. Those buildings came down. And I guess you could say, yeah, well, the weight over, you know, and weight and everything.
Yeah.
But people were saying like the the bottom was coming. There was bombs. People were saying there's bombs at the bottom, and nobody go and look at this stuff. This is just what I heard, and you fucking better believe it.
Well, on here it actually does say controlled demolitions usually start from the bottom floors up.
Yeah.
And this one started at the top down. So it does kind of support that. No evidence.
What kind of? We're the worst conspiracy.
We're the worst
ever.
Like shit. Well, that does make sense. No. No evidence has ever been found of explosive charges, despite the extensive hand searches, and there's no evidence of any pre-cutting of columns or walls, which is routinely carried out in a controlled demolition. See, well, there's conspiracy theorists that I've heard, actually, where, like, there were multiple reports of people who worked inside the towers, like, the weeks before the attack, that had, like, they saw, like, tarped things, like, being pushed in, like, tarp crates, and, like, men in suits, and, like, no, like, they weren't allowed in certain areas, and, like, all this other shit, so I don't know how.
We're getting a new opinion. They're defending that shit way too well, and we are crumbling.
We're crumbling under it. Crumbling under it.
Wrecking us. That's 2-0. Let's try again. Fluoride, chemtrails, those, no, that's nothing. Conspiracy theories we're looking for. Microwaves. I love that shit.
Bigfoot.
Steel beams.
Steel beams. It's all you. It's your turn.
Yeah, I'm not just gonna ghetto style like load that video up. The attack on the Twin Towers on 9/11 stand as one of the most shocking moments in U.S. history, and for some of the attacks seem too coordinated to have come from a terrorist group. Instead, so-called truthers pin the blame on the government conspiracies. That's exactly what I think about that. One of the most cited and well-publicized pieces of evidence offered by this group is the claim that jet fuel does not burn at high enough temperatures to melt the steel beams. By this logic, explosives or some other form of fuel must have been used to bring the building down. While jet fuel, which burns at around 800 to 1500 degrees, may not reach 2750 degrees like it needs, it is only about half as strong as 1100 degrees. According to the comprehensive report compiled by Popular Mechanics in 2005. For the towers to collapse, the steel would not have needed to turn into a puddle of molten metal. It would only have to bend a little bit, and that would fuck up the entire thing. Instantly. Like it did. Let's see. Let's just read some comments of these fucking crazy people. At the bottom, like, hey, you motherfucker, you listen here. Okay. Well, this was believable until you slipped into that last one on the steel beams. Yeah, most of the crazy conspiracy. Like, he's like, this is a list of conspiracy theories, and then it's like just a bunch of fucking crazy shit, and at the bottom we have steel beams. So this guy's saying,
Stephen Hager here.
Stephen Hager is saying, okay, this was pretty good until you got to the steel beams at the bottom, and now I want answers. Like, all right. This was believable until you slipped in the last one on the steel beams there. Wait, I don't care. Whoever wrote this. Yeah, most of the crazy conspiracy nonsense is obviously spread around as a counterintelligence op to sheep dip.
Sheep dip? I like that.
That's
sheep dip.
All thought of conspiracy as crackpot. When in fact, this is the facts right here from Stephen Hagar. When in fact, it happens to be the basis for most every criminal prosecution in RICO. RICO? It's just a capital RICO. And if anybody knows what
I think he's talking about Puerto Rico.
Oh, and RICO. No, that can't be right.
Well, I think so.
You know, it happens to be the basis for most every criminal prosecution in RICO. And that's our standards. Meanwhile, the official conspiracy theory of 9/11 as being fomented,
Fomented.
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 Am I just fucking this word up? Am I just retarded?
I
By
don't
some
know.
cave dwellers in Afghanistan, working alone is rapidly unraveling. Just follow the link from Saudi Arabia to EC,
To ISI, to CIA.
to CIA, to M15. Oh, and the Mossad. This guy doesn't know what he's fucking talking about.
It's just like a bunch of racist.
But I like
followers.
it. Yeah, like, let's go with the
Random person.
no. How much energy is created when dropped 500 K tons in a free fall at 9.8 meters per second over 2? Oh,
At a distance
squared.
of 2.
At a distance of 2. Or you could do 150 K tons free fall at a height of 12 inches.
Or feet?
No, that's...
Is that inches?
Just to see how much support a free falling upper section would need, and I guarantee... Why do you write this so weird? The ratio is exponential. That'll answer your own question. Thanks, Tim Yates. Let's see. Let's get a new. I want to.
I'm gonna throw some math in your face.
I'm doing a new conspiracy. This one might fucking prove us wrong and shit. I don't want to be proved wrong. Let's go.
We don't want to be proved wrong.
We're trying to find.
We want it to support our narrative, and everything else is fake news.
We're trying to find an opinion
Sorry.
that is our own, that doesn't have any fucking facts behind it. Sounds good. Let's see. Could go to Snopes.com. Everybody knows Snopes. Then it would be true. You know what? We're going to go to Snopes.com. Then it's absolutely true and infallible.
Yeah, it's infallible because it snows.
We'll start with hurricanes. That's not a fucking conspiracy. That shit really happens, Snopes. Fuck you. Let's go with the next one. Antifa. Here we go.
Okay. Conspiracy theories have linked the anti-fascist activities known as Antifa to a number of violent acts that either don't take place at all or had nothing to do with the activists. One rumor that went far and wide was sparked by a viral video made by an amateur bounty hunter wearing an iron-on patch on his sweatshirt that vaguely resembled a law enforcement badge. He predicted, completely wrongly, that Antifa soldiers would go house to house on November 4th, 2017, stealing guns and killing white people in the name of resisting Trump. Conspiracy theorists also linked Antifa to both the Las Vegas shooting and the mass shooting in Texas a month later, despite no evidence existing that either shooter was part of anti-fascist movement or even sympathized with them. Online commentators also tried to connect a train derailment near Olympia, Washington, to an 8-month-old blog post by a self-proclaimed Antifa group that said that they had poured concrete on the tracks 15 miles away from the scene of an accident. As it turned out, the train had been traveling nearly 3 times the speed limit as it went around a dangerous curve.
No, that's not good. That's a dumb one. Fuck Antifa. That's not even, where the fuck did they even get off being like a thing? Like what is it?
Fake
like,
millennia?
Fake millennia?
Yeah, you read it. I don't know.
I want to find like a dumb conspiracy theory. I want to find like a conspiracy theory.
Like type in dumbest conspiracy theory and see what pops up.
Let's see, cause I want to find like a conspiracy theory with the Kardashians.
Oh, no.
Cause a Kardashian conspiracy theory. Please be a fucking Kardashian conspiracy theory. There has to be. This is the internet.
That they're reptilian.
Yes!
Overlords.
Oh my god, there's pages and pages of it! Yes! Alright, let's see. Yes. On MSN. MSN has a Kardashian conspiracy theory. Okay, let's see it.
But is it insane or is it...
Oh, it's a video. Oh, we can't
watch
show
a
you.
video.
We're already doing a video. Alright, let's get some words. Come on. Oh,
That's an old one.
How old?
Forever. I don't know, maybe not.
What Kylie Jenner, so Bruce Jenner, right? That's who that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Craziest,
I mean, like, you know.
There we go. 9 of the craziest. Let's go with crazy.
I really don't keep up on the Kardashians. I really don't have any shit to talk except for the whole thing with Bruce Jenner was just fucking nuts. Like from day fucking one, everybody was calling me an asshole because I wasn't saying that Kylie Jenner was beautiful. I'm like, no! Kylie Jenner wasn't beautiful.
No, Kylie Jenner.
I mean, like, you know,
the daughter.
Okay, well, you like beauty's in the eye of the beholder or whatever, but like, there's ugly people, and Kylie Jenner was one of them ugly, an ugly person. There's ugly men. There's ugly. Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah. Kylie Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner. Kylie's the
Bruce.
The next Bruce. The post Bruce.
Caitlyn.
It wasn't my type. She doesn't have to be. Like, I'm sure I'm not her type, and I don't think she's beautiful. She's probably wouldn't be into me, and I think that's fair. Like, I don't think either of us have to tell anybody how fucking great they look. You can if you want to. You're not like a misogynist or like a woman hater for it. There's just ugly fucking people in the world sometimes. Like, I'm not the greatest looker, and I don't expect anybody to tell me that I am. Even if I turn into a lady, it's like especially if I turn into a lady, if you tell me I'm beautiful, I'm gonna just look at you funny. And it's like you're beautiful. If you're just talking, if you're trying to like reach my soul and shit, and you're telling me I have a beautiful soul, okay. But if you're like, God damn, you're one hot bitch, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm the ugliest bitch you ever seen.
But I can suck a dick.
I can suck a dick though, and that's all that matters. I'm a beautiful soul. Oh,
what am I?
I'm never gonna tell Bruce Jenner that she's beautiful, unless Caitlyn Jenner is beautiful. Did you find a good one there?
Well, Kim Kardashian faked her second pregnancy. I was hoping for something like just crazy out there, like that they're like reptilian overlords. And
yeah,
I could totally get on board with that.
I don't want to gossip about them. I want to be like, I want a full-on fucking conspiracy theory. I want them to be lizard people.
They're lizard people, and they like suck the souls of their lovers. They like symbiote with them.
Let's see.
Become one
Kim's
like super being, and they
host. This is all just gossip. That's not a conspiracy theory. I want them to be aliens or
like insane mad,
or just like time travelers or some shit. Turns out they're the new messiahs. I would love to find that conspiracy theory.
Jesus.
Let's see.
Kim Kardashian really Jesus. That's one you've never heard.
Kardashian conspiracy theories.
Oh,
you can't have Pepsi.
You can't have it.
Hell no, it's almost midnight.
Yeah, it is.
Not like we're giving her Pepsi all the time anyway, but sips okay every once in a while. This shit's good. Whatever.
No, ma'am. Not for you. Not for you. Here, come on.
Is anybody watching? Hey guy, will you give me a website with good conspiracy theories? This is Jonathan Winmore. Hey Jonathan. Do you know any good conspiracy theories? I'll just sit. The one person watching isn't suggesting anything, so I'm all out of fucking resources. Jonathan Widmore.
I love you.
I just want to find a good conspiracy theory. What good's fucking internet? If I can't find one good conspiracy theory, here's a conspiracy theory. I can't find a good conspiracy theory because the net's already being blocked. They've already gotten all the misinformation out there. They've proven all the conspiracy theories wrong, and that's my conspiracy theory. The internet, we've already got like a Great Wall, like China, like not a physical one like China, but their fucking firewall is some pretty epic shit. Yeah, and that shit's going on here now. Just watch X-Files. That's isn't that all?
That's my conspiracy theory.
Feminism?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
It was a way to fucking bulk up.
Go ahead, give her a bottle.
Yeah, I'll come back.
I'm gonna get some more Pepsi. This show is sponsored by Pepsi. If you want your product right here, send us money.
Okay. So, feminism.
I'm gonna sue me for that shit.
Is
everything we're saying today is exclusively. Pepsi agrees with all of it.
All of it.
They already said everything we say. They love that shit.
They love it.
They
love it.
pre-said.
We
fucking love you
they
guys.
They support us. 100%.
Anything you say. We're right behind
feminism was a ploy created by the controlling elite to multiply the workforce. So they snuck in little. I mean, I get the whole movement of it, and a lot of women had a hard time and stuff. But what if these guys snuck in all this propaganda to get every woman behind it, thinking, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have it all great and shit, and we're not gonna be stuck at home doing all this stuff and blah blah." So now we all have to work in order to pay all our bills, and then come home and do all the home stuff too. So
oh, see,
think about it.
The powerful men were like, you know what?
Think about it.
Yeah,
think about
they
it.
needed those extra bodies in the workforce. They're like, we're not making enough money. We gotta get some more ladies in here.
Yeah, and so now it's almost impossible to live off a single income, too. So both when you have kids and shit, both parents have to work, and then
let's see.
Yeah.
That's
my conspiracy theory.
Every time you talk, I question my support for weed legalization. Let's see who that is. Oh, it's my brother. That's my brother. Oh, Blake. Yeah. We're out of weed, so.
So there. That just blew your whole theory out of the water.
I bet I'd be a little more articulate if I had a bowl or two. But we don't. We're out. Feminism. That's what most people think when you say feminism. It's like, hi, mom.
Hi.
What? And feminism at its core is a great thing. It's supposed to be like, oh, we want, we just want it to be a little more
for women.
equal.
But I think that there's I don't know. I just have this
nagging
gut feeling that there's this underlying
yeah,
even though the whole movement was a good idea, they fucking grabbed the
all
powers that be, they grabbed onto the coattails and they're like, I know how we're gonna fucking use this for our benefit.
And now and they're like, we're gonna see how far we can push this shit. We're gonna make them wear pussies on their heads and go out in the streets and nobody's gonna know what the fuck they're talking about. And we need more money.
We need more money.
We don't know what we're here for. We got the hat.
We got the hat.
Those parades.
Oh man.
I didn't read anything about that. I just saw the pictures. I have no idea what went down there. I'm an idiot. But my mom thinks we should support legalization.
Burn.
So, whatever, Blake. Utah could use a little legalization over there, so I don't want to hear it. They would love that shit. They're already talking about it because they see the money in that. There's a conspiracy
it is a wise
theory.
investment. It really is.
That's a conspiracy theory we've seen a few times.
For schools and infrastructure, roads and shit.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's another thing. Before anybody starts fucking voting on legalizing weed, so you can go buy, you got to really think about it. Because in my state, I can go buy it, but you can't get a job if you smoke. Who's gonna let you work if you smoke weed? They pee test you everywhere, so it's pretty difficult.
Well, some of the places have changed their policies and say that they don't test for weed anymore, but not everybody yet.
Yeah, so I mean, you gotta go through before you're just like, yay, legal weed. You know you can go to fucking your dude and get it for cheaper than you can get it at a dispensary anyway. Hang on, just hold out, get it right. If you're gonna vote and go and make a change, go vote. If you're gonna go fucking vote, at least get it right. Don't just go in there and make it so you can go buy it with no fucking way to buy it because you can't get a job. Really, like, fill that shit out. Make sure that the workforce treats it like alcohol. If I wanted to, I could just go get trashed. I could get fucking trashed every night as long as I show up, sober up, drink, don't drink 4 hours before work. As long as I have 4 hours to sober up, I can go to work just fine. Yeah, my boss might be like, "Oh, you look fucked up, huh? Did you drink too much?" And that's fine. But if I smoked a week ago, and I come to work and I hit my shin on fucking something and they piss test me, that's it. That's it for me. That's my job because I enjoy smoking marijuana.
Yeah.
I think a really good portion of the country do. I would say most people do at this point. I don't know. I mean, maybe not, but it's probably like 50-50,
Yeah, I would say probably.
Like, a lot of people smoke. It depends on where you're at. It depends on the state. If you're in California, everybody smokes. You can just walk down the street with a joint and just fucking hand it to somebody like, "Oh boy, thanks, you made my day." Like, every time, as opposed to fucking, Utah, it's a little less appropriate. But a lot of people smoke in Utah too. That's where I'm from. I smoke. That's where I found it out. And they have great weed there. They're surrounded by it. I think soon they're gonna legalize it. Before they do, you guys gotta really look, and you gotta like go through and look at like what they're telling there. Don't just look at the top where it says legalize weed and just be like, yes, that's what I want. Look at the shit that they got in there because like I guess that shit's important.
Yeah, make sure that they're doing it right.
And I think that's part of why like they are trying to push it through. It's going through at an insane rate. Kind of like prohibition before. It's just kind of like it popped up here and it popped up here. There's like blah, 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 everybody's getting rid of that shit because that is exactly what it is, and everybody's starting to realize it again. Oh, this is prohibition and it's ridiculous, especially this one. Prohibition. I almost kind of support the prohibition of alcohol. Because, well, first of all, because I don't drink, so it doesn't affect me. So obviously, I have an opinion about it. But
that's most of the people who are against marijuana legalization, though. Is they don't smoke, so it doesn't affect them, and they just. But a lot of people have like a really warped view.
I'm saying though, like alcohol really fucks people up. And like we're out of weed right now, and it didn't really. It's so kind of we did go smoke today.
Though.
But like we're not robbing old ladies. We're not fucking withdrawing his shit. We just didn't get high today.
There are some people who like literally believe like the whole reefer madness, fucking hysteria.
Oh man, well it was on TV. Fucking old people think anything that's on TV is real shit. One of my friends, like, she worked with this guy, and he like told her one day, like, if I find out you're smoking weed, I'm gonna fire you. And he thought that like you were like a crackhead psychopath when you smoke weed, like that you just like sneaking around corners and like robbing old ladies and beating people up in the alleys and I've met some weed people like that for sure, but they were also doing other stuff though.
That has to do with them as a person.
They like to get stoned, but they also like to fuck.
They also like to beat bums up, like.
It's just like, they like to drop old ladies every once in a while. That's them. That's not
just
a pop.
who they are.
I personally don't understand that. How can you smoke and then feel like doing anything other than just chilling or going for a walk or throwing a frisbee or
like having a
philosophizing?
Philosophizing.
Falafel makers. Let's see, conspiracy theories.
I have my other intense conspiracy theory.
What's that?
About the plagues.
Let's hear it.
That it's also one against the ruling classes. That all the like plague outbreaks in the Middle Ages and stuff were actually orchestrated by the ruling class, and that they've had like this technology and ability like we have with like doctors and chemists and stuff, and we, having labs and shit, and they've had all this shit hidden away. Whenever like the poor pauper, the working class numbers get too much and they want more money, they release these fucking plagues on us and like have been keeping us dumb for like a millennia, and keeping us like stupid from this knowledge. But now we're in an era where we've all kind of woken up to it, and so now they're having like a little bit more difficulty in keeping us dumb.
Oh man, the internet is having a huge effect on people. We can get, as you saw earlier, we can get all the facts right there anytime we want. Anything we fucking believe, we can find facts for it. Anything you want to do, you can go to YouTube. I can go to YouTube right now and find a how-to on how to just like build a car, and it's gonna take me a while because I'm a fucking idiot. I'm maybe fucking stupider when it comes to cars, like, so it's gonna take me a while. But if I go step by step, I'll make that car eventually. What's this? Is that Pepsi? Yeah, Pepsi's our sponsor today. They believe everything we say and they back it completely.
That's totally not a lie.
That's not a lie. It's not a joke. This is in no way supposed to be humorous. What?
Your brother said to talk about Denver Airport.
The Denver Airport. Darkest conspiracy theory about Denver's bizarre airport.
I've heard about it.
There's a unicorn here, and
there's a
storm clouds
unicorn
and stuff, so it's looking pretty interesting to go get. Even before the current Denver International Airport opened in 1995, even when it was a mere blueprint, it was subject of countless conspiracy theories. To this day, the notoriously bizarre airport is shrouded in secrecy, riddled with weird statues and creepy art, and abounding in myths. There are some crazy conspiracy theories surrounding the airport's true purpose, many of which stem from the airport's confusing origins. I'm really flustered about these origins.
I don't know what to do.
To start with, what the fuck's going on here? To start with, people don't understand why Denver Airport was built in the town. Why don't you just finish the word? Just finish the word you're writing. Don't just put Den. It makes me sound stupid when I'm trying to read it to people. Like, Den Airport was built in the first place, since there was a fully functioning one closer to downtown. It's also enormous. The airport is twice the size of Manhattan. That's ridiculous. And was
That's ridiculous.
That's a huge airport. And it was $2 billion over budget. It's $2 billion over budget. So they decided to just build this megalith of a fucking airport here. Is that the conspiracy? Who knows? Let's keep going. The airport also features a plethora of creepy art and strange decor that people don't understand. Oh, great. I think this is going to be a fucking crazy one. It's maybe some witchcraft type stuff, devil worshippers. Let's see. It's famous for its terrifying 32-foot tall statue of a giant horse with a fiery, glowing red eyes. Oh no, just regular eyes. I added the red one. Oh yeah, it had red eyes. Okay. Called Blue Mustang.
It killed its sculptor.
It killed its own sculptor, Luis Jimenez, who has no... Who like, why are you sculpting, guy? Jimenez.
Well, he's dead now, so it doesn't
He's
matter.
not sculpting. It fell on him.
He's no longer sculpting. He's checked out.
That's how the unicorn felt. Severed an artery. The thing fell on him while he was sculpting and just severed an artery. Anyway, inside the airport, that's not the conspiracy either. It gets deeper. Inside the airport, there are also murals of a devil jumping out of a suitcase, as well as a statue of Anubis.
My cat's name's Anubis.
Our cat. There's a conspiracy right there. Put that together. We have a cat named Anubis. They have a statue of Anubis. We're reading about them. The ancient Egyptian god of death. Some of the most controversial murals have been removed, but they stay featured on. They featured a character that resembled a Nazi officer in a gas mask, children in front of a burning building, and kids gathered around a knife. Why? What the fuck? What kind of airport is this? Some have interpreted one mural as America submitting to Germany, as it depicts a Boy Scout handing a boy in Bavarian clothing his weapons. Nah, they're just playing. They're just playing. That's how boys play. Many people believe that this is much money and space must be hiding something sketchy. Oh, okay, cool. This is gonna be a good suggestion. Talk about how Reagan invented crack. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
So
So the conspiracy is that it's built by a Nazi group, like New World Order.
Before we get any further, it's looking like it's they built this airport as a front to something much more sinister. This is what I'm starting to get out of this, and that's good. Let's see here. It was built by a Nazi group, the New World Order. I didn't know the New World Order was a Nazi group.
I thought they were rappers.
When did those guys become Nazis? Some conspiracies point to the fact that the airport was built by a mysterious group. Well, nobody knows the people building the airport. Like, I guess they're all kind of mysterious. Who knows the people who are building the airport? They all, nobody knows them.
It's Illuminati.
There's a little mystery there. Anybody could be. Do you think the Illuminati just runs around, like, wearing hoods and mysteriously building things? Just like, fucking everybody's gonna love this.
I don't think they run around.
They never run.
I think they skulk in the shadows with, like, cloak.
I don't know. If I was trying to be secret about shit, I wouldn't want to look fucking like I was trying to be secret about shit.
No, you do it right in front of everybody's face, and then they wouldn't think anything strange of it.
Anyway, but that's what these guys are doing. They built their front so they could be not look like they're doing what they're doing. Let's see. Let's get back to the theater. A dedication marker and plaque around the airport maintained that it was funded by the New World Airport Commission. But a little digging shows that no such group seems to exist, which is why people believe it is, in actuality, the Nazi group, the New World Order. This one's good. Okay, here's a little picture of the plaque, which you totally can't. There's the fucking thing. Ghetto as fuck. I don't have any technology to just pop that shit on the screen right now. Or maybe I do. I just barely got this Mac. Hey, if anybody has any suggestions on how to, like, pop shit up, and actually, like, that would be neat. But for right now, it's going to be this. And here's our weather for this fucking morning. Oh, yeah, let's see. It's the Illuminati's headquarters. Okay, so the idea is they built this giant airport now. We're getting through it.
I could totally
and
feed
it's actually
into this
the Illuminati's headquarters.
Oh, here we go. Okay, adding fuel to the fire is the date of the airport's dedication, March 19th, 1994. If you add those numbers together, you get 33. The highest level one can achieve in Freemasonry and represents perfection.
I love when the conspiracy numbers get those fucking
Theories posit that $2 billion, the airport went over budget, went into building the Illuminati's headquarters beneath the airport. Allegedly, when the airport was first built, it somehow screwed up the first 5 buildings. Instead of removing them, they're said to be buried, which sounds like a pretty swank underground lair. We should go there.
Let's go party at this
Let's
Illuminati
go
airport with
there.
the New
I
World
wanna fucking
Nazis.
go there.
Nice. This is sounding pretty fucking weird for sure, but I don't know if it's New World Order Nazis.
Yeah.
Like, but it does sound like some rich people though
Some rich
are
people
handling
with
some money in some weird ways.
eccentric tastes, perhaps.
Like, this is a
Maybe
weird ass
cult
airport.
taste.
They have a bunch of weird pictures up. It's they spent way more on it than an airport's cost.
Dude, if I had that fucking money, I'd build shit like that all the time, and there would be absolutely no fucking secret to like
Dude,
why I was doing it. It's just weird.
If I had a shit ton of money and I was just off building shit, I'd build like an elevator from like this part of the earth to the bottom of the earth.
Yeah.
Just like instantly. Why don't they have that shit? Why are we going around the earth? Let's just go through it.
Well, because of another conspiracy theory, the Hollow Earth theory.
Oh,
there's like a whole fucking world.
Let's bring that up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring mine up over here, and you do yours over there. Don't look at mine.
Don't tell me what to do.
Okay. Oh, I don't know your password. Fuck.
I'll do it.
I'll just make it up. The Hollow Earth theory. I've heard a little bit about that theory. Is that the Earth is hollow and that there's a much more ancient hominid living down there.
Far more like technologically advanced too, and they come up too.
Yeah.
Is the theory, you know, they're coming up.
Yeah, that every once in a while they'd come up and fuck our shit up, like, because we're dumb compared to them. Like, just severely. Like, we're the new kids on the block, and they're just, like, hazing us or whatever, or using us like cattle or some shit like that. Here, there's all my theories before we actually pull anything up.
No!
Runway shape.
I don't know what that means.
No.
Stay on topic.
That's a good suggestion. You got any Hollow Earth going on here? Hollow Earth conspiracy theories. Let's see here. Hollow Earth conspiracy theories. And it says, I'm too shaky, but it says the whole truth. No, it's not saying the entirety of the truth. It's saying the whole truth. This is Earth, it's hollow. It's like a play. Anyway, Hollow Earth conspiracy theories, the whole truth. For centuries, Hollow Earth conspiracy theories. Okay, I'm going to start off by saying that probably hasn't been a Hollow Earth conspiracy theory for centuries now. But anyway, for centuries, Hollow Earth conspiracy theories have tried to prove that there's a whole other world beneath our own. That's a conspiracy theory in and of itself. There's no way that people have just been like, the world's always been hollow. I've never heard anything about that until recently.
Yeah.
Like, no, not for centuries. Fucking debunked. But let's keep going. But first they need to find the way in. So far, we're saying have all of us forever Reagan crack. Look at Dear Runway shape. He's like he's speaking in code. Just type that into Google. All that stuff he's saying. Type that into Google. Anyway, let's see. Late at night on October 4th, 2002, a strange guest appeared on a cult American radio show Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. Had a reputation for exploring weird themes with fascinating guests, but few had ever sounded as excited as this one. Art Bell is awesome. If you like weird shit, go to artbell.com. It's awesome. You'll learn about fairies and shadow people and all that awesome stuff. Dallas Thompson was a former personal trainer who had spent his youth in Hawaii but now lived in Bakersfield, California. His life had changed forever following a terrible accident 5 years earlier. He'd been driving along Highway 58 during heavy rain with his car when his car had aquaplaned, spinning 4 times, only to plunge backwards down a 250-foot drop. That's pretty, what's the word? It's pretty specific. It's like, whoa, oh god, that's 1, 2, I must have spun 4 fucking times just then, and then fell 250 feet. Anyway, so this guy's driving on the highway, and it's raining, and he spins 4 times exactly and falls 250 feet. Yeah, off some kind of drop. When Thompson was found, the roof of his blue Honda Accord had been crushed almost to the floor. The fireman who rescued him was amazed he hadn't he hadn't been decapitated. As he I'm gonna close it on this a little bit. There we go. As he'd been sitting helpless in the wreck, Thompson had had a vivid near-death experience. He claimed to have seen a light so bright that it burnt my eyes. And like everybody I read is gonna be a hillbilly, I've decided. And made him legally blind. And to have had bizarre knowledge about the world poured into him.
I've got it pulled up. Like he's just reading this, so I was gonna let him finish.
Yeah,
Calm down.
I'm not gonna go too far into this one. It's already stupid as fuck. Okay. When he regained consciousness, he was convinced that the Earth was hollow and had an opening at the North Pole. He'd come on coast to coast to discuss his mission to locate and explore it. Read. Here's the next suggestion. Are we being ruled by flesh-eating lizards?
Well, underlords then, right? Instead of overlords,
okay.
they'd be underlords.
So it's saying if you want to get
Reptilian
further
underlords.
into this conspiracy, we need to go that route next. Let's go with.
So back to the Denver airport. He's talking about there's a claim that there's like this swastika shape.
We'll pull it up. We're like looking at all the searches. Let's see. Let's see here.
Okay. Den. That's why they call it Den. It's the DEN. Like the code. That's why.
Oh, so I was fucking it up.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, these claims. Okay, so the claims are that there's an alleged swastika shape that the runways and taxiways make when seen from the air, as well as murals, sculptures, and other engravings claimed to be secret code or alien language. Well, I know a little bit about the origins of the swastika, the Hakenkreuz. It's actually a symbol of Donner, Thor, or the German version of Thor, that the Nazis like kind of bastardized really and like made their own symbol.
Yeah, they kind of jacked that one.
Too. Just throw that out there. These okay, blah blah blah. And engravings claim to be secret alien language. Okay. All right. Well, what's he saying? You look really hard and want it to.
Yeah, okay. All right. This is a hard conspiracy theory to follow because it takes more than.
Well, I need like to look at the actual like picture of the airport runway from like space.
Let's see. Let's explore this a little further. Maybe an image.
No, you could probably delete the Reagan crack part. Because he told me to type it all in, so I did. I did exactly that. I follow instructions to the T.
Oh no.
Show content.
Oh. Let's see. Okay, so here's the whole airport. Yeah, look at that thing. It looks like a big.
Well, it kind of has like a sort, but not like a swastika. I mean, sort of.
Ooh.
I guess it's not a.
It kind of. Maybe.
But not.
Maybe like under it. Maybe that's how their like underground room is, and that's why it kind of looks that way.
That's not a swastika, though. I mean,
well,
it's really not.
Yeah. Well, let's see if there's anything more to this here.
Yeah.
The essence of a swastika is what my brother said.
It's like a swastika if you're drunk and not very familiar with the swastika.
Oh, they say it's a prison is what we're getting here. Let's see, a prison. Prison, you say? Like an underground. Why would they hide that though? There's a bunch of prisons. Why would they have this like underground prison? Is it like for
like the top secret
like,
agents
yeah, dude,
who, like have all
for
like the secret
supervillains
like
and
hush
shit?
hush shit?
Like like this like turns out the Nazis are keeping us safe from like the really bad guys.
The really
like,
bad guys.
Like they're super. Oh god, nobody. please.
Nobody would
nobody
believe that.
Fucking quote me on that shit. The Nazis were the good guys
If
the
you
whole
take
time.
anything seriously from this,
God.
you're gonna have a bad
You're gonna
time.
have a bad trip. If you were like on
This is
board
purely
with
for
anything
humor.
we say, just go jump off a cliff because it's all just gonna be ridiculous. Like no.
Okay, so wait, let's see.
But that is a possibility. What if? And I don't support this theory. I'm just saying it's fucking out there. What if Hitler was like protecting us from like some super bad guy like Vegeta?
Yeah, I mean, like you could totally like matrix a swastika into it though. If you like Blake says, if you look really hard,
look
like
at
you
that
could pretty much put anything in there
Yeah.
if you wanted to. It could look like any.
Well, I think it does kind of like look like underground. There is some shit like that. Like,
Maybe the tunnels like
yeah,
go
like
into
they
like
have
a,
like that's how they're like maybe like,
swastika.
that's the hallways or yeah. It does kind of look like there is a big Nazi symbol or some shit. It
I mean,
kind of
it
looks
could
like one.
definitely fit in there.
And the airport was built way the fuck over budget. It's the size. It's twice the size of a very, very, very big city. Well, I mean, not a big city, but a very populated city. And they had weird pictures. They had weird shit all over it. It's an airport unlike any other. And there is all sorts of weird shit about this situation.
I think that horse looks cool though.
That's a horse is a fucking murderer.
It's a murdering horse.
Killed its creator.
Well, then it's no different than Mewtwo.
It looks like it's on.
That's all I'm saying.
Mewtwo. Yeah, Mewtwo. There's a conspiracy theory for you. Justice for Mewtwo.
That's what it was about.
They knew it was coming. They're like, oh, the American version's not even going to show what's really happening. They knew it. The Nazis isn't going to save us from Mewtwo.
They resurrected a demon horse.
It had better than average food. That makes sense. Bunch of rich people there. God, the food at airport. I only went to the airport one time, and all the food there sucks, and it all cost 20 times what it's supposed to. Like, that makes any fucking sense.
Except McDonald's.
We want you to be so uncomfortable during this entire thing. Like, it is, and that's really how it is. Before I went to an airport, I always assumed that they were kind of exaggerating. Like, you know, you watch shows on TV, and they're supposed to exaggerate it a little bit. The Simpsons, they exaggerate the story a little bit, make the airport seem really super bad, kind of like the DMV. But that's another one that is really super fucking bad, though. God, the DMV sucks. The airport,
that is run by reptilian overlords.
Dude, when we went to the airport, we already had tickets. My mom bought us tickets. So we already had our tickets. We go up to the little counter. They're like, okay, you want to get your pass? You want to buy your passes now? And I'm like, you're telling me we got to buy tickets and passes? What the fuck are you going to do if I don't buy the pass? What do I do with the ticket? Fucking, like, what did I buy this for? Oops, I didn't get the pass. I got the fucking, I guess I'm going home.
Okay.
They ended up making us down, like.
No, I think they ended up printing them for us anyways.
Yeah, they ended up doing it for us anyway because they could see I was losing my fucking shit, and I had just barely got there. Because that's ridiculous. I already bought it. I'm already
and then you have to
fucking
buy
in.
a boarding pass. Yeah.
No, I'm not buying a ticket.
You printed it out.
You gotta buy the ticket. How many tickets you got? You need 4 tickets to ride this ride. Sorry, like fucking no. I'm not buying any more tickets. I already got the thing. Yeah, what's with the food prices at airports? Why do they do that?
It's because
Why
children.
like I know there's different airports, but they all seem to have agreed that they don't want us to be comfortable during this entire thing. Any part of it, it's shitty. There's even first class seats, I guess, like you're still just gonna have a shitty time because you have to deal with the poor people.
Oh my gosh.
All these poor people.
Life's so hard for the rich. They have to deal with the poor people.
Lucky we're gonna get on this airplane before the poor people, and we're gonna get off first too. We're allowed to drink because we're decent. They are the cheapest until they're not. What's that mean? It's like a riddle. I guess we'll just have to fucking fly Allegiant sometimes.
That's what we did fly. That's who that
Oh,
was.
yeah. I guess we were through Allegiant.
Yeah.
It was the cheapest until it wasn't. They got us with all sorts of shit.
Well, you tried to.
Yeah. Thanks for that, by the way, Mom. If you're still watching
Yeah,
this.
thank you.
My mom's like, nope. We got real shit to worry
I
about.
got real shit to focus on.
Like,
this is lame.
This is ridiculous. I think you're making me stupider. Let's see.
Can stupid rub off? We'll try. We'll do our best.
Don't go anywhere. We're about to rub off some stupid on you. I want to do a conspiracy about the pyramids.
Okay.
Pyramids, conspiracies. I totally spelled it wrong. Pyramids.
Yeah.
I've lost all ability to spell. Crack, and my brother's insisting. My brother's insisting that we do some crack here.
Some crack.
We'll get to that one next. I'm planning to stay on for like another whole hour.
Here's ones that don't involve aliens.
Hippies.
Hippies. There's a bunch of hippies that built the pyramids.
Hippies built pyramids because they're fucking too
What is
fucking
going on
lame
here?
to say no. Oh, bro, I don't know if I could do that pyramid today, man. I'm really busy.
Mysterious void discovered in Great Pyramid of Giza.
Do.
You wanna
How
do
were the
this?
Egyptian pyramids built? Mysterious void discovered in Great.
Yeah.
They both. I mean, either one of those sounds fine.
Either one of those. 7 sites and people think were built by aliens.
Those ones are always fun. I don't want to do that ones today.
Okay.
No, I don't want to do all those.
How about that one?
Let's just do some crack. All right.
Okay,
we're gonna do the
some
Reagan.
crack.
We're gonna do the Reagan crack thing.
Reagan crack thing.
Oh, here it is right here. Okay, let's see. Reagan crack. Do.
Did Reagan start the crack epidemic?
Okay, so the idea here, I guess, we haven't opened it yet, but Reagan started the crack. There wasn't crack before Reagan in the U.S., and he brought all the crack. Which explains a lot about Reagan. He was a crackhead. Okay, go ahead.
There's no. I think it's just a forum.
That's just a forum?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Reagan crack.
Reagan crack. Wikipedia.
I want to pull up a video of Reagan and speed it up so he looks like he's on crack.
Well, it's not really a conspiracy because he was involved in it.
Well, let's see. I mean, it's still a conspiracy, even if you could support it.
Yeah. Yeah. The subject still remains controversial.
Well, let's read it.
Okay.
let's see.
Okay, so a number of writers have alleged that the United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, was involved in cocaine trafficking during the 1980s. These claims have led to investigations by the United States government, including hearings and reports by the United States House of Representatives, Senate, Department of Justice, and CIA's Office of the Inspector General. Ooh. The subject remains controversial. CIA involvement in trafficking is usually alleged to be connected to the Contra War in Nicaragua during the Reagan administration, which acknowledged in 1986 that funds from cocaine smuggling had helped fund the Contra rebels.
Pause real quick. Okay, go ahead. Because we're getting lit up by our 2 followers.
But stated that the smuggling was not authorized by the U.S. government or resistance leaders.
Okay.
A 1986 investigation of a subcommittee of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, the Kerry Committee, found that the Contra drug links included, amongst other connections, payments to drug traffickers by the U.S. State Department of funds authorized by Congress for humanitarian assistance to the Contras, in some cases after the traffickers have been indicted by federal law enforcement agencies on drug charges, in others while traffickers were under active investigation by the same agencies. The charges of CIA involvement in Contra cocaine trafficking were revived in 1996 when a newspaper series by reporter Gary Webb in the San Jose Mercury News claimed that the trafficking had played an important role in the creation of the crack cocaine drug problem in the United States. Webb's series led to 3 federal investigations, none of which found evidence of any conspiracy by the CIA or its employees to bring drugs to the...
So the government's saying, we didn't find
They're
anything.
They're never even, it's like having the police investigate themselves.
Look, guys,
we'll
we
investigate
didn't
ourselves
find
to make sure
anything.
that
No
foul play or
It
wrongdoing
looks like
was
these
done.
guys are legit.
It's just like the whole heroin epidemic too, you know.
Anytime one of the little CIA planes goes down, it just fucking snows cocaine over like some small village.
Well, you know, when we first went into Afghanistan in the same year that like heroin just exploded all over fucking United States.
My mom was just talking about that. She was saying heroin was brought in by Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know if Obama personally was doing that.
I don't know if he personally stuck it in his pockets, but I mean, like, it's the same. 2001. It's the same.
I'd love to be the cop on that drug bus. Like you roll down your windows, sir. Fucking Obama sitting there with glasses on. It's like,
well, I think
we've had reports that like 40 pounds of heroin.
It started with the Bush administration, but Obama continued it. Is what happened because it was 2001. When the epidemic started to bust out here, and that's when we took over the poppy fields in fucking Afghanistan. It's like, okay.
Trying to capitalize.
Okay.
God damn it. You know what happened? The drug war started, and all the governments were like, hey, drugs are really fucking lucrative, man. And then they all became drug dealers. What's all the angries? Let's see.
I don't know.
Oh, this is my buddy Tim. He's fucking nuts. Fucking nuts, Tim. We love it.
We're heading for Venus.
I'm going to Venus. I'm going to live on Venus.
I have a conspiracy theory about Venus.
Uh-huh.
It's actually Mars's atmosphere. And it got hit by Nibiru.
And that knocked
and it pulled the atmosphere off.
Slapped the atmosphere off of it.
Yep. And became Venus.
Slap the atmosphere off ya.
There you go. That's my conspiracy theory.
And it just wafted.
Yeah, and it became like this gas.
Is this just big cosmic fucking fart?
Yeah, pretty much. Big cosmic fart. And yeah.
That is a good conspiracy theory. I can get on.
Yeah, it's an easy one to get behind.
Yeah. There's no way to prove me wrong on that shit. Try me.
You go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna pick a different conspiracy theory. Obviously, Reagan brought in the cocaine. Fucking look at him.
Maybe not himself, like Obama. You know, I don't think he stuffed the cocaine in his pockets, but he definitely it was on his watch and maybe even under his command.
Like he totally did nothing about this. And and the same deal with like we were saying. It just kind of boom. Reagan came around and boom. And maybe that's just because Reagan comes around doesn't mean he's a crack dealer or whatever. But it was a big coincidence. This show sucks. You need more outlandish theories. Planet X. Planet X is not. That's one of those mainstream theories, bro. That fucking everybody's all about into that shit. We need to find some underground shit. I wanted to find some Kardashians are fucking lizards, dude. I wanna see fucking Beck is some sort of fucking Grim Reaper. Like I really want something weird, but I can't. Like you can't type in weird conspiracy theory because everybody believes their shit. They're not gonna say, "Oh, here's a weird conspiracy theory." They're gonna say, "Oh, I've got the real shit right here." So fucking, I'm having trouble finding this. You can't just jump. I should have done a little pre-research. Fucking, I didn't want to know what I said. No, I didn't want to sound like I knew what I was talking about, but so I just did like a little looking around, but I also didn't want to, yeah, you know, I didn't want to be completely in the dark like I am here. Yeah, I want to find a weird conspiracy theory. Twisted Sister owes me money. That, who, what, Nibiru. Let's do it. Let's do it. Nibiru. That's a planet. That's a different planet. That's gonna. You know what? This whole Planet X thing is plausible though. Maybe it's not the same planet. Maybe we're not all talking about the same planet. Maybe if some big planet. I know. I got the system right here. Oh, as it turns off. This computer's done.
Is it?
No, I don't know what happened. It's just like.
It just, yeah.
Boop.
It's old.
It's old.
It's old as fuck.
Guess I'll bring it up on this new fucking technology. Yeah.
At a freaking 7-year-old laptop. No, longer than that. 2005, I think, actually. So.
Oh, I didn't do that.
12-year-old.
We're gonna do X. We're gonna do Planet X.
Nibiru, the
yeah.
Destroyer.
Okay.
I was thinking about that too, even further, on my conspiracy theory about it. So, Venus is Mars's atmosphere.
Mhm.
The powers that be know that. The Sumerians knew it. They called Nibiru the Destroyer because mankind is actually a lot older than we're led to fucking believe, and their ancestors were alive when it fucking happened. Dun dun dun! That's just one of my made-up conspiracies I've contemplated in my head.
Let's read. Let's just go off Wikipedia here. The Nibiru Cataclysm.
Wow, that's kinky.
What's that?
Tim had sex with Jesus.
Oh, that's kinky. Don't we all have sex with Jesus? Not just Jesus.
Don't we all?
Come into your
Aren't
heart.
we all Jesus?
We're all Jesus. Sexy Jesus. The Nibiru Cataclysm is a supposed disastrous encounter between the Earth and a large planetary object, either a collision or a near miss, which certain groups believe will take place in early 21st century. Believers in this doomsday event usually refer to this object as Planet X or Nibiru. The idea is that a planet-sized object will collide with a closely pass by with Earth in the near future.
And that's why it's kept a secret, the history, because they don't want people freaking out like, some Orson Welles shit.
Well, if
they think a planet could possibly hit us, a rogue planet that just is flying around.
Well, they go in to say that there's no scientific evidence to support this, and all of the astronomers think it's bullshit. But it could be. Well, I think it's plausible because fucking we're in space, dog. we're just going. We're going around a thing that's going around a thing that's like we're
going
just
around other things,
and everything's just whipping around, dude. Fucking at one point, something is like the odds are
something's gonna hit us.
At some point, something's just gonna wreck this shit, all of it. Like, who knows if it's gonna be tomorrow or a bajillion years, but the odds are it's gonna happen. This planet, if it doesn't get blown up first, it's gonna get wrecked by a much bigger planet just fucking floating through space, eating little shit that it hits into. Like, it's not I don't think it's a theory. That shit's probable. Do I think it was from some planet that nearly missed us before and is coming back around some cosmic loop? It's really highly, probably not going to happen. But some big shit could just come out of nowhere and fucking stomp us out of existence anytime. We can call that Planet X, and most people probably will. Look, it's here.
Look, it's here.
I fucking told you. Yeah,
it is now. It is today. Today, that motherfucker is.
Yeah. It's so, of course, that's plausible. I don't know if it's going to happen exactly like that.
How can I see what's down here?
Like from some planet that almost hit us before coming back around. Okay. But yeah, that is going to happen at some point.
Good night, Lori.
Night. What do we got?
Shocked at us. He's like, I love hate and I'm shocked at all y'all motherfuckers. I'm shocked. Well, not really shocked. Not that shocked.
Let's go with some shit. I don't know if is it still a conspiracy theory? String theory? Is that conspiracy? I guess nobody's conspiring for that. But
It's a
like
String theorists are conspiring.
they're conspiring. The idea is that like we're in a dimension, like a universe superimposed over an infinite, like mind-bending amount of universes that are superimposed, and like everything happens just a little bit different, and we can't see these other universes. There's a way to like prove this. Can you bring up something real quick about? Are you doing something? What do you got?
I just typed that in.
Oh, string theory. Conspiracy. I'm gonna go with proof, because I wanna actually find something to prove. Because there's a way to like they're showing there's something that happens that proves there's like something there. Theories can be probable. Yeah. Well, no. I mean, it's of course. Let's see. String theory. Evidence. String theory. I don't even want to go. Next time I do this, I'm gonna come prepared.
Yeah,
I'll read a little bit more about string theory. String theory is gonna be our next one.
Down some
Yeah, we'll do some stuff. We just kind of wanted to like go. we
thought
we were just gonna go like a full
first
like 2 hours like about 9/11 and didn't come close to that because fuck those guys. Fuck those guys. They're making me look bad with their metal
science and
in their could be
could
have happened like that.
It could happen like that.
Maybe it did.
Maybe it did. Well, fuck you. You're punching holes in my theory.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They've never been able to recreate the circumstances.
Yeah, and like this is the reason why it's such a big conspiracy, because it took so long for investigations to happen. Mm-hmm. By that point, who knows? Like there could have been a whole shit ton of covering up going on. Man. I mean, like we can't just pretend that people in power are not corrupt. I mean, like look throughout history, people have been murdered. There's been all kinds of just shady stuff going on.
Yeah, dude, so. And like, and now that the internet's around, we're finding out more and more about it. Like, it used to just be people. Oh, we don't really.
Oh.
Remember when Marilyn Monroe was like a big deal?
Uh-huh.
Remember when like nobody possibly thought somebody could have like getting my thoughts mixed here. Like, for example, the conspiracy theory that JFK, it was Hoover that planned that, right? Or am I getting the guy? I don't know any fucking thing about it, but like his vice president was the one who was like, we gotta take this guy out.
I've heard that he was like one of the
planners or
planners
whatever
behind it, or
maybe we'll actually do some fucking research and look into it. But yeah, I've heard that theory. That's a really strange. No, it's not strange. But that's a really like real thing when you look at this whole situation where JFK was like, we're getting rid of we're not doing this whole we want to get back to gold. He wanted us to have our
the Federal
old
Reserve
money.
Is what happened.
He didn't want the Federal Reserve in our shit anymore, and they're like, nope. What do we got here? Lyndon. Thank you, Blake. Not Hoover. Is that a guy? Is that just a vacuum? Hoover's a president, right? Lyndon B. Johnson, I think is like right.
Yeah, Johnson. Yeah.
Is that right? Somebody fucking give me something. Lyndon Johnson. No, Lisa.
Give me my 350.
Give him all 3. Lazinski B. Wait. Oh. B.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, B. Lyndon B. Johnson. For Bethany. Right? Johnson. Lyndon Bethany Johnson. That was his real name. Pepsi supports that.
Pepsi supports that. They're 100% agreeing that it was Lyndon Bethany Johnson.
That's some shit that, like, when you look into it, it's like obvious though. Like, yeah, fucking, I don't think it was somebody who had.
Well, they didn't even have to they didn't even work to try and cover.
I don't think it was just some concerned citizen who fucking shot that dude. It was some rich people didn't like what was going on there. Fucking Kyle Fordham, LBJ, Lyndon Bethany Johnson, Hoover is a fucking vacuum.
Hoover was a president.
Hoover, yeah, he was. Hoover, who cares?
J. Edgar Hoover.
J. Edgar Hoover. Justine Edgar Hoover.
Justine.
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Yeah. Well, and who else did that? Was there another president? I think it wasn't I don't know if I'm just making this shit up. Probably am. But isn't that why Abraham Lincoln was killed too?
That's a theory that I've definitely heard that. That him and
was the Federal Reserve even along at that time?
I don't think so. I think the Federal Reserve didn't come
they
about
went
till like
in the past,
20s.
and you're like, you know what? You got these progressive ideas, Lincoln. We don't like it.
We don't like it.
we don't like your beard, Lincoln, or your ideas.
Hold on.
I'm gonna kill you in the middle of a play.
There we go. Not careers. Fuck you. Autocorrect hates me.
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
J. Edgar Hoover was CIA. He wasn't the vice president.
Yeah, there was no Federal Reserve System. Yeah, I think it didn't come about until like the Great Depression is when the banks came in because we were like so broke.
Yeah.
That they came in and they're like, we will help you, and then they
All right.
1913.
Who else?
So close to.
It's no, not Lincoln. Fucking any countries though. Any countries that are like, no, we're not doing that Federal Reserve shit.
Well, like Libya, Gaddafi or whatever. He was one that didn't want to take our.
Don't Google that.
Don't Google that.
don't Google any of this.
Also, Saddam Hussein backed out. And like pretty much like let's see. Here we go.
Gaddafi backed out. Gaddafi.
And he may have been like a piece of crap or whatever they say, but now there's all that fucking like African slave shit going on over there. Like they're fucking.
Is it really falling the fuck off over there? Holy shit!
It's like, okay, so if he was so fucking bad, then why the fuck is this going on? I'm sorry. Like he was obviously keeping that shit out, so I mean, it couldn't have been that awful. But I don't know. I don't know the whole shit. I don't even want to get into it because I don't know what's true or not, and I have to be there to see what's really going on.
Yeah. All right, give us a second. We're getting an opinion. We need to get an opinion here. Money's messed up, man. It's like all of us need it. We all need money, but it's also messed up.
Okay, well, this one says debunking the dumping the dollar conspiracy.
Uh-oh. Okay.
You guys are against the take.
Dude, I've been thinking about getting Bitcoins. We
were watching.
We have a cryptocurrency of some kind, like 15 cents and some off-brand. But it's we don't have any Bitcoin. We have a friend making bank off that shit right now. There was a point like when I was like 20 or something like that. My buddy Kip suggested it. He suggested we buy a bunch of Bitcoin, and instead I bought pot. And I would be a fucking millionaire right now if I would have just listened. But
I'm trying to find
regrets. I had to live my life, and I probably wouldn't make a very good millionaire.
Oh, anyways, it was Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi.
Yeah. People who don't want in on our money deal
tend to be on the other
you know
end of
no
our,
I say
our
I just mean what our what we're using, the same people who are supplying us with bills. Whoever decides they don't want that shit,
it does seem like it's quite what's it called, one of those convenient, like
Yeah,
mighty
you
convenient.
can Google that shit. That is some shit I've actually seen. Google that shit and look into
Mighty
it yourself.
convenient that
But
so and so backed out of the U.S. dollar, and then all of a sudden we're at war with them. The chupacabra.
the chupacabra, goat suckers. I know a little bit about them goat suckers. The chupacabra.
Goat sucker.
Or the
Wendigo?
No, is that what that is, like the shapeshifter thing? Those Indian
the skinwalker.
Skinwalkers. I want to talk about skinwalkers. Let's bring up a little article on skinwalkers. Oh, you're on it. Skinwalkers it's like this old Indian tale.
Yeah, Navajo.
The only ones that know. God bless. Tim.
I don't know how it's pronounced. Navajo Dine or something.
Let's see here. Okay. In Navajo Dine culture, a skinwalker, however they fucking say it, is a type of harmful witch who has the ability to turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal. The term is not used for healers. They're pretty specific about that. You know, some fucking hippies are, I'm a skinwalker, man.
Well,
fucking touch my crystals. That'll be $50. In the Navajo language, Ye Naudlashi translates to by means of it. He or she goes on all fours. While perhaps the most common variety seen in horror fiction by non-Navajo people, the Ye Naudlashi skinwalker, is one of several varieties of Navajo witch, specifically a type of dude. You Navajos don't have any idea how to put words together.
It worked out for World War II. Don't give them fucking shit.
Well, no, I guess I can't say that because they did. I'm sure it sounds just fine when it's said right. But maybe we just don't have any idea of what fucking letters we should have put to them because.
Yeah, I think we put too many of our letters into.
We didn't put any fucking vowels in there. It's just a bunch of consonants. The legend of the Skinwalker is not well understood outside of Navajo culture. So we're culturally appropriating right now by just telling it. Mostly due to the reluctance to discuss this subject with outsiders. Oh, see, yeah, we don't get to know that one. Navajo people are reluctant to reveal Skinwalker lore to non-Navajos or discuss it at all among those they do not trust. Because why would we want to know about that? Let's see. Navajo witches, including skinwalkers, represent the antithesis of Navajo cultural values. While community healers and cultural workers are known as medicine men and women, or by terms in the local indigenous language, witches are seen as evil, performing twisted ceremonies and manipulating magic in a perversion of the good works medicine people traditionally perform. In order to practice their...
So it's either light or dark. There's no
between
with
Oh, okay. So what they're saying is they have
if you're
like...
a skinwalker, you can't
if this was the Navajo RPG, at some point, if you were a spellcaster, you're going to have to choose. Are you a skinwalker? Or are you
or one of these types of witches that manipulate magic and do it in whatever it said, ways that they don't.
The essential,
healing
the
ways.
black mage versus white mage.
White mage, yeah. There's no gray. There's
Final
no
Fantasy. There's red mages. Blue.
I'm talking about
Final Fantasy.
I don't even know with Navajo. They might have shades of gray and red and purple. I don't know.
I wanna pull up I wish I had some ideas for better technology because I want to pull up a video of. Here we go.
I just saw something about tricksters and the coyote. Animals associated with witchcraft usually include tricksters such as the coyote. I saw 2 coyotes on my walk last week.
Yeah.
10 feet away from me, but can include other creatures, usually those associated with death and bad omens.
Mm-hmm.
They might also possess living animals or people and walk around in their bodies by locking eyes with them. Oh, that's kind of creepy. Skinwalkers may be male or female. So they're saying like a skinwalker could like actually make eye contact with you and like take over your skin.
Oh, that's how they get their new skins.
Why would a Navajo want to share that with people? I mean, if if skinwalkers are real, wouldn't you want to know that there could possibly be somebody that could look at you and take your flesh, inhabit you, wear you as a skin suit?
The
for
Navajos
fancy
don't want
parties?
us to know. Maybe they just assume we are them. They're like, these
Maybe
white people
we
are
the
crazy.
skinwalkers and they
Maybe we are the skinwalkers. We're fucking it up for everybody. Here's all of our notes. Here's all of our sources for skinwalkers. I want to find like a video. I want to find a video of skinwalkers.
Sissy. Your brother doesn't like skinwalkers because he's a big old sissy pants. They're too scary. I don't like the idea of something taking over my body.
I know, dude. If anybody's listening, maybe it's just Blake. Maybe just send us enough money. We'll go get a joint or something. We'll do a better podcast tomorrow, but we don't have any money. God damn it, our rent just got raised.
Chupachat.net.
Let's see. I want to find a
Your
video.
brother gives you a website there. Chupachat.
Chupachat.net. Oh, I would love to fucking talk to the people on that one. I'm sure we'd have all sorts of shit in common. Seriously.
Goat sucker.
I want to find one of those bad videos on YouTube where it's obviously just a bunch of fucking kids messing around. Oh shit!
Oh, like those.
Run, Daddy!
One of those
Oh!
those 3 a.m. things that we watch.
Oh yeah.
Like, that
Oh
little
yeah.
girl was watching them.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's a real skinwalker caught on tape.
I love it when they say real too.
Yeah.
And then you see it and you're like, okay. Oh my goodness.
Yep, here it is. Real skinwalkers.
Right there.
Let's see. Where's the video even of this? It's all advertisements. Is that?
I don't know what happened here.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's supposed to be loading right there.
Okay. You're about to lose your fucking mind.
You could turn it to the side maybe and it'll go widescreen.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Here we go. You could just look up this video, or you could watch this shitty shit on my screen. There's a skinwalker right there. The guy who took the picture didn't get his soul took because everybody fucking knows if you look at through the mirror or take a picture of it, it's not the same thing as directly looking at it. It's, basilisk rules apply. Same with vampires.
Okay, so I just watched it. Did that look like? Okay, I have to go back because.
Is he taking a video of a picture?
No, just wait.
Well, because that thing's not moving.
Just wait, okay. So you're saying this is a skinwalker. It almost looks like human-esque for a second, but also, you know, you see like a tail there.
It kind of looks
and then he like is wobbling the camera.
Well, and it's not.
And then it runs off, and it's like a coyote or something.
Oh, what the fuck! Oh, that was weird as fuck. Okay,
it is weird, but you know, I could easily explain it myself.
Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna roll this back here.
Yeah, you have to make it small and then go back and then.
Because at first I thought he was just taking a video of a picture, so I lost interest real fucking quick. But if you go on YouTube, look up skinwalkers. This looks pretty fucking weird. This thing just looks like it's got kind of like a human form, you know. It totally.
And then it runs off, and it's clearly like a coyote.
But then it runs off, dude. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Fucking look it up. I was actually pretty impressed by that. What the fuck was that? It looked like a dude was just laying there, and then it ran off. Like a wolf. It looked like a Bigfoot was laying there. Like maybe this is a twofer.
Yeah.
Turns out Bigfoots are skinwalkers, and that's why you can't get them on video because they just look like wolves or some shit. They take their Bigfoot form only when they want to look blurry.
Like, you know, because it almost looks like the tail right there and stuff. It just looks like it's laid on there weird, and maybe it gives the illusion of like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like he's got like an ape head. Oh yeah, it looks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Skinwalkers, real. Pepsi says so. Pepsi endorsed. Real thing. Oh my god. Let's do one more.
The Skinwalker video?
No, let's do one more. Let's do one more crazy fucking theory, and then I want to go to sleep.
Okay.
No, but is that like 2 hours? 2 hours of
You
just.
should clean your glasses. That's pretty gross. That's how you get E. coli. You want E. coli? Pink eye? Do you want pink eye? Because that's also how you get pink eye.
If you pee in the road, you get a sty in your eye. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do. Maybe we should do a Pac is still alive theory, or MK Ultra. MK Ultra is always a fun one to.
That's always a fun one to get into.
Roseanne was saying, like, she just came right out and said, it's like Hollywood is using MK Ultra to manipulate actors and stuff. And I actually listened to, like, when I was at work, I listened to this whole thing about it, and it made it sound really real. Like, what they do. Let's do MK Ultra. How's that sound? What they do is they have this. Oh shit. MK Ultra is it's, I don't know, it's something they use. It's like this method they use to hypnotize people.
MK Ultra is like a project that the CIA conducted, like all these crazy experiments. Here, go ahead.
Let's see. Well, it's like the method they use to hypnotize. I guess what they usually use is like actors, or like they use it to make super assassins and shit. What is they first they like take a lot of times they try to take children, and that's why there's a lot of missing children, is just taking these kids to fucking make super assassins.
Kids with like,
but what they need is
abilities and shit.
what they gotta do is they gotta like break you mentally. They break the shit out of your mind, and then they split you into a bunch of different personalities. And the idea for doing this is now you have the perfect like slave to go do things for you that you will never get tied back to, because this, let's say Derek Zoolander has, he's gonna assassinate the president of Malaysia, or whatever, and the idea is as soon as he assassinates him, he's either just gonna kill himself, or he'll revert back into a different personality that has no idea that even fucking happened.
Like sleeper cells, basically.
So he can't give anybody any good information because he doesn't know anything. Meanwhile, he's the guy who did it. So there, that just instantly cuts trails over. Where do we go from here? This guy obviously somebody made him do this. Sorry. Are you just?
I was just scamming through it.
Let's see. Da. I don't know. We're gonna do like a whole show on this one sometime. I'm running out of juice and I kind of just want to go to sleep.
Okay.
MK Ultra. That's what we're gonna do next time. We'll start with MK Ultra. It's really interesting subject, but maybe we'll have even some pot or something. So we'll be
we'll have a better setup.
But yeah, this was just kind of an experiment. We're gonna throw this up on YouTube too. If you ever feel like watching us do this episode again, I guess. Next time we're gonna go with MK Ultra conspiracy theory, and then we'll probably move off conspiracy theories for a little bit.